Hey guys, it's time for a special project. If you've seen any of my yard work videos, you've seen the wooden handicap ramp slowly disappearing over the course of the summer. Let's take a closer look. So all of the wood is gone, and I don't have a video about that, but what I do have a video for is what I'm starting today, which is digging up the concrete walkway, digging out all of these concrete pillars, digging out all of the asphalt that's under the dirt here, cutting off this asphalt with a straight line from the walkway, and then filling all this in with dirt and planting grass, and trying to get the grass planted before it's too late in the season for it to really grow well. So hopefully I can get that done. I'm starting today, but this will definitely be a video that spans days, if not weeks. I'm going to start by digging up all of the brick edging around this walkway all the way around. The tool I'm using here is called a pickmatic. It's a pickaxe kind of tool on one side, and it's a flat digging tool on the other side. It's extremely useful for digging rocks out of the ground and prying things up out of the ground, or prying concrete off the ground, or digging a small channel in the ground. It's just a great tool to have, highly recommended. Alright, let's speed this part up a bit. Now that all the edging bricks are gone, it's time to start breaking up the chunks of concrete walkway and piling them up in the driveway. Alright, this was the original plan. Do some nice clean cuts with a circular saw that has a stone cutting blade on it. Not deep cuts, only about 1/2 an inch or so. Then I'm going to pry up one end, put a piece of wood under it, and then try to tap it gently with the sledgehammer, and hopefully it'll break cleanly into nice rectangles instead of the crazy jagged stuff that it just naturally breaks into. So I have no idea if this is going to work, but I hope so. Let's see. It actually cuts really well, but it kicks up an awful lot of dust, as you can see. right, guys, it's day 2. We got more smashing to do. I have a rock bar today, so we might actually be able to get some stuff done. Also have some doggos with us. Mac and cheese. Also, I have a helper today.
Nick Smash.
All right, let's go. Okay, I've got the concrete walkway all dug up, including most of the gravel that was underneath it, so that's ready to go. I'm going to use a string to mark a line right about here. I'm going to cut it and then dig up all this asphalt so that the edge of the driveway will be straight with the edge of the walkway that goes down. Okay, it took a while because there were 2 layers, not just one, but all the asphalt in this corner is dug up. This is just a pile of very loose rubble. I may or may not get rid of that. So now I need to dig out some asphalt around this area, and I think there's some concrete in there too. Then I can finally start digging out these posts, and then I can finally put some dirt down and level this out and finally get the grass planted. Cutting this edge with a circular saw with a stone cutting blade worked extremely well, as you can see. Okay, the next step in the job is the hardest part. I need to dig out 8 of these concrete cylinders that are the footings for the handicap ramp. It's a lot of digging for each one because they go very deep and the blocks are very heavy to lift out of the hole, which is a pain. And once they're gone, I need to fill the hole back in, but now there's a lot of material missing, so I need to add more stuff. And you'll see I use the rubble from the sections of concrete and asphalt that I dug up. When I fill the holes, I do it a few inches at a time and I compress each layer. And the reason I do that is because I want to make sure that I don't get sinkholes in the future in these spots, because they're pretty big holes. So I want them to be nice and solid so they basically disappear forever. So like I said, there are 8 total that I dig up. 7 of them came out fairly easily, and then that 8th one you'll see is a real big pain in the butt. But eventually I do get them all out. Spoiler alert. Okay, so at this point I'm going to skip ahead a little bit since they're all going pretty much the same. I'm going to jump right to filling some of these holes, and then we'll get towards the last one, which was the problem one. So this is the last one. This was the most difficult one by far. It's surrounded halfway around by asphalt and then a quarter of the way around by concrete. And then the part that's open has that drain pipe clean out that blocks it on that part. So it was really hard to dig underneath. Plus they did not use a concrete cylinder tube for this one. They just poured the concrete directly into a hole. So it was bigger and heavier and had rougher edges, which all made it really hard to get out. So this one took a long time. So I have this scrap piece of 2x8 and I'm going to cut it right about here. Then I'm going to use a giant rock bar, which is just like an extra large crowbar. And I'm going to try to pry against that with it pressed against the house foundation. So I have to apologize, I don't actually have video of me removing this chunk of concrete. It was a real pain in the butt and it took 2 days just to get this one piece out. There were many failed attempts, and what you're looking at is the final successful attempt. I used a 2x4 as a lever, lifted it up and rested the 2x4 on a stack of milk crates. The other side of the lever wasn't on the ground, it was actually resting on an automotive floor jack. So once one side was up, I jacked up the jack and that lifted the concrete out of the hole, well, partially out of the hole. Then I filled in the hole with some big rocks I had so that the concrete could not fall back into the hole. That's what you're seeing here. And then I lowered the jack so that the concrete was resting on the pile of rocks. And then I took the 2x4 off and then just dragged the concrete onto that little scrap of wood and out of the hole entirely. Alright, I'm finally done taking things apart, and now it's time to build. In this case, building means spreading 6 yards of fresh dirt that I got delivered, which is about 12,000 pounds worth. I'm moving it by hand, dumping it one wheelbarrow full at a time, and grading it with a rake, and then rolling it with a hand roller. This is the point where the work stops feeling daunting and starts feeling very rewarding, because any section you finish from this point on, it's really done, and it looks really good. And the only thing left to do is wait for the grass to start growing. Alright, I'm finally at the home stretch. It took a lot of time and effort to spread all that dirt. A lot longer than the 2 minutes it took in this video, that's for sure. So what I'm doing here is just roughing up the surface of the dirt so that the grass seed will have a place to stick a little bit and it won't get blown away or washed away. And then I'm spreading the seed and the fertilizer with my lawn spreader. So when they built this handicap ramp, they had to cut some notches in the walkway here for the concrete supports. The last finishing touch I'm going to do is fill in these holes with asphalt patcher, and hopefully I can get it looking pretty good. So I've never used this stuff before, so I'm going to shovel in a little at a time and compress it with a brick, and then a little more and a little more until it's nice and flush. Alright, here's the finished product. It came out great and I'm very happy with it. The ground is nice and flush with the yard and with the existing walkway. Once the grass grows in and becomes part of the yard, I think it's going to look great. So obviously I left that one concrete pad in place because I needed it to store those chunks on, and I'm going to need to store some other stuff on it later. I will dig it up eventually, but for now I'm just going to leave it and grow grass all around it. Here's a couple of before pictures so you can see what it looked like before I took down the handicap ramp and before I started digging up all of the concrete. Big difference. If you look real close, the grass is already sprouting. If you like this kind of video, I will be doing more project videos periodically as the need arises, in addition to my regular weekly yard work videos. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more.